World Pool Championships. We start our coverage with the final of the men's team event, in which perennial favourites England take on long-time rivals Ireland.
Team England!
Leading the team out, England manager Steve Mills, closely followed by long-time England captain Lee Kendall, and accompanied by a blend of new players and more experienced players in the shape of Ben Flack, Neil Toms, Gareth Hibbert, Jordan Church, Chris Gill, Ian Hubbard, Jack Popel, Darren Price and John Rowe.
Ladies and gents, one more time, a big round of applause for Team England! And ladies and gentlemen, their opponents, a big round of applause, if you will, for Team Ireland!
A rapturous welcome from the Irish sections of the crowd. Manager John McGee leading the team out, accompanied by Robert Brady, the captain, Rod Clifford, Rob Mulcahy, Carl O'Donoghue, Dave McQuillan, Ronan Fay, Patrick Morehouse, Simon Fitzmaurice, Barry Hoff and John McMahon. We join the action in the fourth frame, with England leading by 2 frames to 1.
Fourth frame, it's going to be Robert Mulcahy to break off against Ben Flack.
Well, it seemed a slightly tame break when he hit it, but 2 balls finding their way towards the bottom right-hand corner pocket. Pretty good opportunity here, both colours reasonably well spread around the table. You'd imagine the red slightly preferable, but he could certainly take either suit.
Yeah, it's just a personal preference thing. I just wonder whether he might take the yellows, because there's quite a few yellows around the black, so he'd want to be clearing them, you know, whereas if he'd taken reds, there was quite a few yellows, just sort of 2 just to the right, below and above the black, so they could have caused him a bit of trouble later in the clearance. So he's elected yellows, get them out of the way, and hopefully for Ireland he leaves a nice straightforward finish.
Yes, and yellow's particularly good because he was able to drop on this quite difficult one down the, well, not that difficult if you're on it, but could have caused a difficulty down the left-hand side of the table. These all join up reasonably well now.
Yeah, we spoke earlier that the defeated in the playoff, the fierce rivals Northern Ireland, came through semi-final against India. A little bit of a surprise package, India, although some very good players playing for him, to finish second in the group. A great performance from them, and Ireland dispatched them 11 frames to 8, and England seeing off Australia in the other semi-final by the same scoreline. Again, a little bit of disappointment there for Australia, because they've come with such a strong side this year and made such a good strong showing.
Yeah, Australia have really been one of the talking points of this championships. They've had Ben Noonan reach the semi-finals we saw last night, ultimately just falling short against England's Adam Davis. Renata Delahunty in today's ladies' final at 2 o'clock.
Super finish here from Robert Mulcahy. He decided very early which way he was going to go. This black bottom left. Come on! 2 frames all, and the Irish have found their voices again.
The next 2 frames having been shared, we rejoin the match in frame 7. Scores tied at 3 frames apiece.
See there, John McGee, the Ireland manager. He's obviously must be a little bit concerned. He's obviously going to have something to think about shortly as to his order and who he's going to bring in for the second session. As we see the break off from Ian Hubbard, loads of power, ball disappears. If that yellow bounces, all the reds in the open. So, super opportunity here for Ian Hubbard to put England back in the lead. One slightly awkward red on that right-hand side, Mark, but it's clear, isn't it? Pot.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they can never be simple enough in these circumstances, but can really ask for a much better split than this. A little bit like Neil Toms, Ian Hubbard. He's been a stalwart of the England team for a long time. Very steady player, never really seems to do anything out of turn. Just always goes quietly about his business, clearing up the table when he has the chance. A measured style around the table. Likes to get everything set, and then once he's made his mind up, no looking back.
Well, he's actually opting for the yellows here. Feels that gives him the better out.
Yeah, well, I think possibly just slightly put off by that red you were talking about on the far right hand side of the table. It did look like the reds were probably marginally easier, but it was pretty well balanced. All three of these yellows go down into the bottom right hand corner pocket.
That was okay there. He went perilously close to just flicking that yellow, which is what he wouldn't have wanted to have done. He's okay, and unfortunately Barry Huff still parked in his chair, just wondering whether he's going to get an opportunity here in frame 7.
Yeah, that was a good shot actually by Ian Hubbard getting around that yellow. He came very close to it. It wasn't quite the natural angle, just playing with a touch of side to get the right hand side of it. It'll turn out nicely though. Just got to negotiate these 3 yellows down into the bottom right hand corner pocket. Or may elect to put 1 or 2 of them into the right hand middle depending on where he ends up. Able to pot it clean down there so he can carry on taking them into the same pocket.
Yeah, the problem he's got here is going to be getting position on the last one he pots into that right hand corner. He wants to be fairly straight on it so he can just run through for the yellow into the bottom left hand corner. The only danger of that is we've seen 1 or 2 shots over hit and under hit on this 8-foot table. If he takes the right hand one, comes off this right hand side rail, he's in danger of just maybe overcooking it.
Yeah, there's that red on the right hand side cushion as well, which is just a little bit close for comfort. Ought to be able to get around it okay, but just got to be a bit careful.
Well, he actually opted to use that as a bumper.
No, has he? Presumably aiming to pop the remaining yellow into the right hand middle pocket. Has that red come in the way? Looks like he can probably just go past.
Yeah, Mark, but perhaps a little bit tighter than he would have liked.
Sensible way of going about this because it affords easy position to the black if he can drop that last one into the right hand middle pocket.
We say from that shot, that yellow sails into the right hand middle. So just one good pot here from Ian Hubbard. Take England into the lead at the halfway stage. Oh, he's missed it. Missed it by quite a distance. I say it was one good pot required. So Barry Huff must have been thinking he was only going to get out of his chair to shake hands, but now opportunity knocks.
Rare miss that for Ian Hubbard. Normally very steady with that kind of shot. Just left him a little bit too much distance. The kind of shot that really just requires you to keep absolutely still, get your arm through. The kind of shot that can be affected by pressure. Saw a couple of balls in the semi-finals yesterday. People missing shots into the middle pocket that you wouldn't expect. See Rob Yazell there, the former England manager.
Yeah, Rob come to support the team still at these championships. Having relinquished the job last year. So Barry Huff chose not to attack there. I thought he might have gone for the finish, to be fair, because they're all there. It's a fairly easy escape for Ian Hubbard here. He can get past the red, the side rail.
Yes, I mean, you can understand him wanting to make things as easy as possible, but he's not playing the most telling snooker. He's pretty much cut off. I don't think there's any very ready gap off the left-hand side cushion, because if Ian could have come that way, there would have been every chance of potting the yellow. If he's going to go around the back of the red there, it's an easy hit on the yellow, but less likely to pot it.
Yeah, but he's looking for the pot here, because he just pointed with his cue from the rail to the yellow as to the angle, and take the yellow into that top right-hand corner pocket.
Yeah, it's asking a lot to actually pot it, but anywhere down there could cause Barry some trouble. Always look at the risk though, it was close to the middle pocket.
Yeah, well, he opted to go, well, he got the other side of it, gone and off. Now Barry Huff, 2 visits, cue ball in hand, and this should be 4-3 Ireland.
Disappointing turnaround for Ian Hubbard. A moment ago it looked like he had the frame beyond question. 2 shots later, suddenly it looks like it's the Irish that are going to go into the mid-session interval leading by the odd frame. Just a case of Barry Huff holding himself together now. Balls all in straightforward positions. Nice to have the luxury of 2 shots. Looks fairly confident going around the table at a nice measured pace.
I think he might have been just looking to take that red off the red and make sure of the pot, but he's missed it. So just a little bit of pressure going back onto the shoulders of Barry Huff here, because now only has the 1 visit. Still a straightforward finish, but it's got to be taken out.
Yeah, that ball he missed was his only difficult one, so wouldn't have been minded too much wasting his visit on that, but as you say, does add that little bit of extra pressure. You know that you don't have the luxury of actually being able to miss a shot. In normal circumstances, hard to imagine where a miss would come from here. Drop this one into the left corner, play up probably for the one into the right middle after this. Now just a case of zigzagging his way across the table. 3 reds and the black stand between him and taking a mid-session lead for his team.
To be honest, I don't think Steve Mills will be too unhappy with that. Obviously you'd like to be in front, but like I say, it's not like Ireland have run away with this, and I've said before earlier on in the commentary, England always seem to come strong in the second half, but I'm sure Ireland will be ecstatic. They can take a lead into that second half of the match.
So just a case of getting good position on the black. I think a lot of players may well have played those balls the other way around, but it didn't ultimately make very much difference. Just get the black slightly up to the white slightly up towards the black here. Should leave a simple enough pot for Barry Huff. Left a little bit more distance than he needed to. I mean, it's still a straightforward shot into the middle pocket, but this kind of stage of the game you don't want to be leaving yourself pressure blacks. See some nervous mannerism there, just picking a bit of fluff off the table. Don't want anything getting in the way as he rolls this white towards the 8 ball.
Now, packed audience looking on here. The Imperial Hotel in Blackpool.
30 seconds.
Barry Huff composes himself.
Yes,
An Ireland lead by 4 frames to 3 at the mid-session interval.
Straight on then into the 8th frame. Ireland leading England by 4 frames to 3.
So frame 8. Ireland breaking off. They're leading by 4 frames to 3 here in Blackpool. Interesting, we see the Ireland team sheet for the second half. They've kept exactly the same order. And all they've done is they've put the experienced man at the end, the reserve John McMahon. He's come in into that 15th frame if we get there. England, as expected, swap theirs round. You see Carl O'Donoghue, very scrappy first frame in the match when he was playing Gareth Hibbert. He'll be looking for a little bit of a better showing in that first frame. He did secure that first frame, put the Ireland in the lead. I would say not a particularly inspiring performance, so be looking to certainly continue his winning way. Nice shot there, but where's the cue ball going? Going to hit the yellow. It's fine, it's stayed away from the pocket, but he's overcooked that by quite some distance. I think he was trying to leave himself a red into the left hand middle. And he just opted to try and play the containing shot there. Up against John Rowe. John Rowe secured England's first frame in the first session. He defeated David McQuillan. McQuillan gave him a fairly easy out by putting the cue ball on the floor from the break shot. Nice shot there from John Rowe. Don't quite think he's got the snooker, but certainly made it difficult here for Carl O'Donoghue. Not left him anything on. And to be fair, the way all the yellows are sat, if John Rowe gets a chance, he could take the finish. So Carl O'Donoghue's just going to have to be a little bit careful here. A good shot there. He's part of that cue ball right next to the black. John Rowe does have a shot. Top left-hand corner pocket. Yellow just to the right of the left-hand middle. See Carl looking on. Opted not to sit down. Thinks he's perhaps going to be coming back to the table fairly quickly. So it looks like John Rowe's taking this pot on.
30 seconds.
I'm not quite sure about that shot at all. Whether he was trying to flick off the red and just leave the yellow over the pocket. If he did, he missed that by quite some distance. And if he was going for the pot, he missed it by some distance as well. So, slightly edgy start by England, second half of this game. It is a best of 15 frame final. We play 7 frames in the first session. The teams then have the opportunity to swap the order around and bring an extra player in to make the 15th frame. That's a mistake from John Rowe. That last shot, Carl O'Donoghue now has got a great chance to take the frame. Just looking there, taking the bottom one of the 2 reds where he's going to be cannon into the yellow. Opted to play it with pace. And it's gone slightly awry here for him. He's going to take the red into the middle. He's going to have to send the cue ball around the angles here, Mark.
Yeah, it's one of those shots where just for a couple of inches the other way it could have been so simple. Still, it's not the table, which is the main thing. That's a clever way of playing the shot. He just about had the angle to hold it. It looked like he might have to run up and down, but that was fraught with danger. Actually, that allows him to hold for the gap that he needed to be in the first place. Little way up, but pretty preventable black here for Carl O'Donoghue. Could take his 2nd frame in the match.
Yeah, and all the Irish guys looking on there. Yeah! Ireland extend the lead, and now lead by 5 frames to 3.
The next 2 frames having been shared, we rejoin the match in frame 11 with Ireland leading by 6 frames to 4.
So Ireland just 2 frames away from a famous victory here in this year's Barcelo sponsored World 8-Ball Pool Team Championship. And Gareth Hibbert did not want to see that cue ball disappear. It's a bad mistake there, he's lost it. Screwed straight off, yeah, a little look to the heavens, he knows. He screwed it off the front of the pack. And the Irish guys look on with excitement.
Wow, what can Robert Mulcahy do with this? So a very scrappy last frame, which certainly did have the feeling of a local league match about it at times. Just shows the pressure that these great players are under. If you were to watch them practicing, you could see them play for hours without missing any pots like that. But out on the big stage, in front of a capacity crowd here at the Imperial Hotel in Blackpool, nothing's as simple as it is playing down your local club.
Well, certainly taking plenty of time here, Robert. Just deciding which way he wants to go about this finish.
Red ball's in play.
Really, he's not got to do an awful lot here, other than keep his composure, keep his calm if that's possible.
Yeah, so sounds easy, but always easier said than done when you're out there. Yeah, as you say, technically nothing too difficult. The ball down the left-hand side of the table is quite close to the cushion, so we'll need to get reasonably straight on it so as to make it as easy a shot as possible. The black, I think, probably does go into the right-hand middle pocket under that yellow. If it does, relatively straightforward. It's not absolutely perfect with that shot, though. Not quite what he had in mind.
No, I thought he'd been coming down the table a lot further with the cue ball there. Ideally, what he'd been getting rid of that red that we can see there, to that middle pocket.
Yeah, partially guarded that red. It does pop, but not from where he is at the moment by any means.
So, he's missed. Gareth Ibbott's still in a little bit of trouble here. There's one man you need to get at the table to get your team back into a match. Gareth Ibbott, Mr. Dependable.
Very steady player. Has been in the top 10 on the international turf for some time. Just dropped slightly outside that now. It's at 14, but still one of the best players in the England team.
Yeah, you see there, Robert Mulcahy knows he had a great opportunity there to put Ireland just one frame away from the title. But Gareth Ibbott, you say, had a long amateur career before he turned professional. Steve Mills there looking on. He's got to be concerned now about the performance. Knows that Gareth Ibbott needs to take this frame out. Next up is the new boy, will be Chris Gill for England. Up against Ronan Fay with the young Irishman with the break. So it's desperately important for England that they take this frame.
Gareth Ibbott will certainly have taken some confidence though from the miss from Robert Mulcahy, or from rather the fact that he'd ended up in that situation in the first place. Slight sign of nerves, didn't quite get into prime position. Gareth's going about these nicely. He's dealt with the difficult one near the red over the right hand middle pocket already. Just a case now, roll this one into the right hand centre as well, and then of course of getting up to the bulk end of the table nicely on those last two yellows.
Yeah, I think he's done the right thing here. What all the top pros would tell you to do is that you kept all his work in one area. Oh, he's missed. I just wonder if he had a bad contact there. I'm not sure if he's had a kick when he's played that pot. But if he hasn't, that was a bad miss.
Yeah, either had a kick or perhaps just trying to borrow a little bit of the pocket to end up. You see, he's got quite a nice angle on the yellow. I think perhaps that wasn't quite the natural angle. Let off for Robert Mulcahy. He can barely get to the table quickly enough to pot his first red. Just the one shot to negotiate will be the one near the right hand centre pocket. Got an angle to get on it now, or could decide to take these two down the bottom of the table first.
Joe, there's been so many twists and turns in this match. Do you think that the previous frame was a big turning point if England had levelled up?
Definitely. I think when you go through a frame like that, you know, with nerves, and you wonder which team is going to come out of it the steadier. I think that's what it's going to be here. Whoever can keep their head and really concentrate on the pool and not let the pressure of winning another world championship get to them is the team that's going to come out on top.
Yeah, well, this frame now is all going to be about position from this penultimate red. Get on the red and make sure he leaves position for the black.
I'd say the Ireland team would be feeling it, knowing that they haven't won one for a while now, and they'd be wanting it so badly.
Yeah, he's come up short there, Robert Mulcahy. Sure he wanted to come probably to just the other side of the yellow. Try and leave the red almost straight into the top right hand corner pocket. But he's a young man full of confidence, as they all tend to be.
Yeah, just wants to get a bit more spin on the ball, race it around the two cushions. As a result of slipping out of position, left it a bit too much to do. Missed the red and knocked it safe. So Gareth Ibbott Made a bit of a mess at his last visit, trying to borrow a bit of the middle pocket. Much easier opportunity now. The two yellows up in the bulk end of the table, now nice and close to the top left-hand corner pocket for him.
Yeah, the thing about that shot from Robert Mulcahy there, he's actually promoted the other yellow that was in that top bulk end of the table into a far better position for Gareth Hibbert. And it wasn't too difficult as it was, but now it's close to the other one. They both go into that top left-hand corner pocket.
And when you look at where Robert Mulcahy had left himself as well, he wasn't really on the black. He'd have had to have a double on the black, overhit the shot by some way.
But that was all about the position from the previous shot. So just when we thought that England's chances were slipping away here in Blackpool, fortunes have turned again. Simple 8 ball, left hand middle. And Gareth Hibbert cuts the deficit. It's now 6 frames to 5 in Ireland's favour.
The 12th frame having also gone the way of the Irish. It's back to the action in the middle of frame 13. Ireland only needing 1 frame for victory. Looks very focused, Simon Fitzmaurice. Steely-eyed determination. Knows what he's got to do here.
Yeah, and I think he'd like to show the viewers that he can play just a little bit better than he did in that first session, and how we would love to take this frame and secure the title for Ireland. And say 5 years since they last took the trophy home to the Emerald Isle, and I'm sure there'll be one hell of a party going on tonight if Ireland do take the title. It's a super shot. I just wonder if Simon's just thinking, well, I've got half an opportunity here, and I'm not going to let this slip away. He has got that awkward red part behind the yellow, but he's maybe got an opportunity at some point to break into, because he makes sort of any contact on the yellow from this end of the table where he is now, and the red goes towards the pocket. But obviously he's got to get into a position where he can play that kind of shot.
Yeah, none of his ball in absolutely the right place, and cannoning that one now. I don't know if he's got the angle just to run into the yellow as he pots there. It looks maybe a little bit straight to play that shot. We saw in his first frame, it started well, but slightly falling into the trap you feel of potting too many of the balls earlier on. Whether he's in danger of repeating that here.
No, I don't think so. I think he thinks he might just have a little bit of enough angle here. No, elected to play the sensible shot. Just drop the red over the pocket.
Yeah, if he'd just been an inch or two higher up the table, he could just have brushed the yellow, but forcing it from where he was, I don't think was really the shot. So, going for the sensible option. Ask the question of England captain Lee Kendall.
To be honest, though, if there's one person you wouldn't want to get into a tactical battle with at this stage, it's Lee Kendall.
Absolutely, been there and done absolutely everything in the game. Even this week, showed his mettle against Australia in the semi-finals. Won a very important frame to take them through.
Yeah, he said he was in all sorts of trouble in that frame, and I think I've mentioned before, Ben Noonan particularly, who was playing, was not impressed with the finish that he took out, but Lee said I had no choice. He said it was a all or nothing finish, and fortunately for him it worked out. But that's history now, and it's all about this frame from Simon Fitzmaurice. Taking the opportunity to move that red, I think. It's next to the yellow here.
Super shot.
Decent shot getting the red out. There's not a lot of room to work with there. Only hit a bit of it. Didn't want to be smashing into the red that was over the top left-hand corner pocket. So did well to control both elements of the shot. It's now in a position where he's got all 3 of his reds in possible places, albeit not all completely accessible. Lee Kendall decided that too much accessibility as there was, trying to shut down the top left pocket. quite got the snooker there. You can see between the gap of the red and the yellow.
Yeah, I think the snooker would have been the second prize there if he'd have got that as well as, say, covering that red. You see there Simon Fitzmaurice just looking to decide whether he can take one of those reds up into that area and get it in the mix.
Yeah, sometimes that's a good thing, although sometimes you're better when you've got the pocket covered, not getting other balls into the mix. Could play to Lee's advantage if he can start rearranging the balls up there. Now that's a good shot though. That's got it into the mix in such a way that opens things up. So the only danger is, has he left a gap for Kendall to get this yellow?
I wonder if that yellow will go past the red. I think it might have gone before, but now the way he's played that, he's opened the table right up potentially here to Lee Kendall.
Well, to read Lee's facial expression, slight look of disappointment, but sometimes one of those players that looks disappointed when he's not in A1 position, but still more than capable of clearing up from the position he is in. No, it's all about what happens with this yellow. Can he squeeze it through? Can he force it through?
Well, there's the answer, but where's the red gone? He's knocked the red in. He's given 2 visits. And that is desperately unlucky there for Lee Kendall. So, the Irish side, they look on. The excitement builds. Simon Fitzmaurice just 3 balls away from securing the World Team title for Ireland. 2 visits in hand. I'm not sure about this. I think he should be taking the one into the right hand middle here. Alright, he's going to go up the table and leave himself the longer shot. Oh, that is perfect, right in the heart of the pocket. Fantastic shot there. So 1 good positional shot required now. So England suffered disappointment in Malta, defeated by Wales in the European team final. Our Ireland now about to snatch away what seems to have become an English possession, this World Team title. Well, 2 visits on the black. Needs to find a way. He's just got to find what he's comfortable with. The problem he's got here, if he tries to play it above the yellow, he's got to make sure he gets the cue ball far enough so he can see it. You see there, he's looking. Looking at. Played a clever little shot there, just flicked off the yellow. Tucks the waistcoat in, doesn't want to be given a foul at this situation. Surely he's got to be taking the rest here for this shot. Yeah, he's done the right thing there. He's composed himself. Just used those few seconds of time out while the rest was being retrieved. This 8 ball for the title. World Team Champion for 2011. Fantastic performance. The Irish guys they were singing before about taking the title home to Ireland, and they've done it. They've secured the World Team title. John McMahon there, the stalwart. Brilliant performance. Simon Fitzmaurice there takes the title. A great performance from Team Ireland.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what a final. Two great teams. Shame as always that there has to be a loser. Lee, I know you were going for a 15th world title with so many records already, but what a performance by the Irish.
Yeah, they played very well. They certainly deserved this title this year. So many congratulations to the Ireland team. Well done, lads.
Final, a lot of positives, a couple of new players coming to the team this year. Great performance to get to the final the way you did.
Yeah, every year we're here to be beaten, and this year we were, but next year we'll be back and try and take the title off Ireland. So we've got a good team, we'll be back.
Thank you, Lee. Well done again. Now, in a 5-year wait to take the silverware back to Ireland. A word with captain. You captains? No? Get the right captain. Manager, John McGee. 5-year wait, how does it feel?
It's actually 6, it's been a long time.
It feels even longer than that. Brilliant performance though. I mean, you come into the final, the England lads have been there, done everything. Are you expecting to win?
No, you don't expect to win when you're playing England because, in fairness, they are the best team in the world. They have been for a long, long time. Sometimes they don't always win though. It wasn't a very high quality match. And we came here this year with a plan. And that plan was to stick together, to play dirty pool if we had to. You're not going to break in this when you come to the World Championships. You have to stick with it, believe in yourself and believe in your team, and we did that this year.
Great team effort. Everyone said what a great team spirit there's been. All the lads seem to get on well. How much does that help when you come out into this big arena?
It's absolutely enormous. We're 11 brothers here. We made a vow at the beginning of the week that we would stick together, we would fight for every single frame, we'd fight in every match. Amazingly, we were involved in 6, 11, 10 matches. That shows how close it is in the World Championships. There's nothing between any teams. Those teams here came this week with a realistic chance of winning and didn't actually qualify. The standard is superb, and just to come out on top is just absolutely phenomenal. We're thrilled.
And final question, John. Why now? More world titles?
I'm going home, I'm retiring.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winning team.